right, we're live. Oh, I need to move that up a little bit so it's not cut off there. Hello. I know, no background music or anything. Oh crap, I need to post on Twitter. Going over the Sykkuno allegations and Mujin's response now. Oh, no, that's no, not now. Helps if I could write. Alright, hold on. There. Post. Live. Okay. Okay, I'm off to a great start. It's been so long since I did anything even remotely close to commentary. And to be honest, when I did it last, it wasn't exactly the greatest. There's a reason I don't have it uploaded on my YouTube. There's a reason I never uploaded those VODs, but yeah. Oh, I got a follow, and I can't thank them because they followed me while I'm offline. All right, well, we'll see if this individual shows up in chat. If they do, I will say hi then. All right. I don't know how long this is gonna take. I'm going to try and be fair, but judging by what little snippets I've seen, it's not great. And it's a shame because I used to like Mujin, but holy crap, his crash out on Twitter was insane. And like just we'll go over that. We're gonna go over that. So I guess let's just hop right on into it because I'm already running late for stream.
My girlfriend of 4 years has recently become obsessed with a male streamer, and I feel really uncomfortable about it. This was a post made on the subreddit.
Okay, no, he's not reading over it, so I'm gonna read it. My 27 male girlfriend of 4 years, 26 female, has recently become obsessed with a male streamer, and I feel really uncomfortable about it. This is really embarrassing to even post about, and I don't know if my feelings about the situation are valid or if I'm just being a jealous boyfriend. Well, your first problem is being on Reddit. So, my girlfriend and I have lived together for 2 years now, and it's great. She is admittedly my first girlfriend, so I'm a bit inexperienced, but our relationship has been steady and happy, and I was planning on proposing to her this year. But my plans were squashed by current events. I know she wants to get engaged somewhere nice, but traveling right now is not smart or feasible. Okay, that's reasonable. My girlfriend lost her job back in July thanks to you-know-what, and it really devastated her. Let's see, this was 5 years ago, so I'm going to hazard a guess and say the Rona. Yeah, it screwed a lot of people over. It was pretty close to being a dream job for her, so she took it really hard. She started panicking about finding another job in this market. I am really fortunate to have a well-paying essential job and minor debt, so I was more than happy to let her have a break for a few months. She was already getting kinda depressed from the quarantining. Her job was work from home. And I thought letting her rest and recover a bit would help, and she readily agreed and was super grateful. She really stepped up, and the apartment was super clean, and she was making delicious, elaborate dinners. Since it's just us two in a one-bedroom apartment, there's not much mess between us, so she still had a ton of free time.
R/relationship advice around the end of 2020. What was particularly shocking here is that...
Let's see. Girl throws away for your relationship for Sykkuno. Okay, so there's that. There's the original trigger warning now?
Barely just a few days after making that initial post, he'd end up breaking up with his girlfriend. Her obsession with that streamer was that irrational. And during that time, she wasn't the only one who might have felt this way. That's because the male streamer in question here was none other than Sykkuno, a name and face that had become a core memory of the COVID-19 pandemic, more specifically when everyone was locked up in their homes. In the span of less than a year, he would go from having 1,000 average viewers on Twitch to 50,000, even having a stream where he peaked at over 100,000 concurrent viewers. What he'd be most known for was his gameplay of Among Us with his friends, who happened to be very big content creators as well. Not only would he get tens of thousands of concurrent viewers on Twitch, but he would get millions upon millions of views on his YouTube channel as well. And while his rise to fame is definitely incredibly impressive, what was truly unparalleled here is his extremely high ratio of female viewers, confirmed to having been higher than any of his other content creator friends. His handsome look, his anime sounding voice, and his witty jokes made women go rabid. In fact, it was also a joke that he would turn male fans gay. But what made him really desirable is just how socially awkward he was. He was innocent in an endearing way. He was a boy failure that needed a woman to fix him. In a nutshell, he was this picture, almost allergic to other women. He just couldn't handle anything romantic. He would get too flustered.
Oh, hey, Tsubaki, how's it going? Yep, I want to get back into doing a little commentary, so yeah, we're going over this whole dumpster fire.
Many of his fans want to be the one to finally fix him. But make no mistake here, this was all a perfectly crafted image that he had made for himself. He wanted you to think that he was innocent, naive, a boy failure, someone who's inexperienced in relationships and would never hurt a fly. Because in reality, behind this mirage, this illusion, there was a master manipulator, a serial cheater, and a predator. Someone who would make it a point for many years.
I've seen a lot of discussion about this. And I think that's a really... Now hearing it in context of the video, because no, I have not pre-watched. Only what I've seen of it on Twitter. I don't like that. When someone drops the predator comment with stuff like this, that is generally alluding to, you know, targeting children. And I saw Mujin's response that, oh, you don't know how to use the dictionary to people. And it's like, okay, yes. But also context. Even it, like, if we were to go for a legal definition, I did see Legal Mindset talked about it a bit. Let's see, legal definition of predator. Yeah, so I'll just, that's, you know, no, I'm not gonna go with the AI thing. Yeah, what, okay. Forbes law offices. What, let's see. Seeks others out to exploit this predatory behavior may involve manipulation, coercion, or force. They often target those most vulnerable, people with disabilities or those under the influence of drugs or alcohol. These individuals typically show repeated planned behaviors rather than committing a one-time offense. So yeah, no, even like the legal definition is like coercion, drugs, booze, targeting in the online sphere. It's used for targeting kids, not for being a serial cheater. Which, yeah, that's a problem. And honestly, screw Sykkuno for that. There is no excuse to cheat. Period. But I don't like this framing.
To target smaller content creators, take full advantage of the fact that he was one of the most desirable men in the streaming world, all while making it seem like he had no experience with women and that it just might be romantic. They just might be that special someone who can fix him. What he would somehow forget to tell them, though, is that he had been in a monogamous relationship since 2021. But you don't have to take my word for it, because he admits to everything in a recorded voice call with the victim herself. And on top of that, that same victim, who goes by the name of Hemamal VT, would choose to write a Google Doc that shows the entire time.
So this Google Doc that came out, I know I keep pausing, we're only like 3 minutes in. This Google Doc came out, I think it was 1 or 2 hours. Like, it was hours before this video. I know he said there was no coordination, but I have a very hard time believing that, because, like, 2 hours is not enough time to put together and edit an hour-long video, an hour-long expose. So, that raises questions. That raises many questions for me.
Line, her and Sykkuno's DMs together, as well as the DMs of another victim that actually slept with Sykkuno while being totally oblivious to the fact that he has been in a relationship since 2021.
And again,
this might be one of the most impactful and longest running lies in content creation history. I want to thank the 2 victims in question for trusting me with this very heavy topic and for allowing me to make the first comprehensive video on it.
And
so
for
without
then
further
proceeding
ado,
to nuke all of that goodwill on Twitter because my ego
Alright, so first off, who the hell is Sykkuno? Well, before starting his streaming career, he actually used to be a software engineer working in the Bay Area of California. His monotonous office life would change forever, though, when he would meet Lily Pichu, a well-known content creator who actually started making content as far back as 2012. However, when they met, she was far from being the very well-known content creator that we know today. It was back during the Season 3 World Championship for League of Legends during the year of 2013, so barely a year into her content creator journey. Sykkuno would be aware of her content. He'd reach out to her and would want to meet her, seeing that they're both at the same place. Lily Pichu agreed, thinking, oh, am I about to meet a fan? That's awesome. She'd be absolutely shocked when that fan would show up with a massive bouquet of flowers. As she was about to thank him, he would run away back to his cousins. According to him, these were his only friends at the time. He was that lonely. He was simply too embarrassed to interact with her further. This interaction left a good impression on Lily Pichu, and they kept in touch for years to come. In fact, as she would start her streaming journey, she'd play with her friends, and one of those friends would be Sykkuno. Her viewers would start to express interest in him, especially seeing that his voice sounded like an anime character. There was genuine demand in her community to know what he looked like. What they didn't know, though, was that Lily Pichu had already shown him. He was there with her when she went to Summoners Con 2015, and he was right there with her in her vlog.
Wow,
but most of the community were simply not aware of this. So seeing that there was growing demand to see what he looked like, they decided to do a face reveal live on Lily Pichu's stream around the year of 2019.
Yeah. You're such a... Oh, okay, here we go. Wait, you're actually so much braver than I thought.
Only because you're here.
Alright, I'm in this stream.
And as you can see, the chat was definitely not disappointed. In fact, Lily Pichu had such an impact on Sykkuno that she would be, well, the main reason why he would start streaming. And you can hear him say that himself.
So what convinced you to start streaming?
And Lily are... I don't remember if they're dating or if they're husband and wife now.
Lily, actually.
And speaking of streaming, he would start doing so shortly after revealing his face on Lily Pichu's stream. He'd start at the beginning of 2019, with barely under 100 viewers, but as the months would go by, he would start to get very rapid growth. He would really start putting in serious hours by August 2019, and within just 1 year, by August 2020, he'd be sitting at 8,000 average viewers, reaching a peak of 15,000. But how? Why? Well, during his streams, he would continue playing with Lily Pichu. And seeing that Lily Pichu has a lot of big content creators that she calls friends, she would introduce them to Sykkuno. It turned out that this guy was very easy to talk to. He was witty, he made jokes, and the communities of the many streamers actually enjoyed his company. All of these factors combined would be the perfect catalyst for when the quarantine season of COVID-19 would arrive. He would start to play the game Among Us with some of the biggest content creators on the planet, and within just 4 months, he would go from 8,000 average viewers all the way up to 50,000 average viewers, peaking at 100,000 viewers in one stream. He was gaining 500,000.
I think the point Mujin's trying to get to is, oh, he's a big streamer. If this goes the direction I think it's gonna go, I'd wager he's going to go the direction of big streamer coercing little streamer because my numbies. I hate that argument so much. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Million followers every single month. In just the span of like a year and a half, he had gone from being a mid-tier streamer to one of the biggest on the entire platform. It wasn't just Twitch though. He would be getting millions upon millions of views on his YouTube videos as well. He was killing it on every single platform he was on. And so by 2022, when YouTube was aggressively recruiting Twitch streamers to stream on their platforms instead, offering them multi-million-dollar deals, they targeted Sykkuno, seeing that he's extremely brand friendly, has a very loyal audience, and had become a household name in such a short time.
Right now,
so on May 2nd, 2022, he would announce to the world that he was moving to YouTube on a 2-year exclusive contract. And as you can tell by the engagement, this post went viral. What I really want you to understand, though, is just how valuable he was seen by companies and platforms. Back when YouTube was aggressively recruiting talents that were on Twitch and their confidence and hubris, seeing that they completely dominated the streaming scene at the time, would never bother offering a counteroffer. On the very rare occasion that they did, it was a very big deal. And guess what? They made an exception to Sykkuno. They gave him a counteroffer higher than YouTube. Sykkuno would go back to YouTube and show them Twitch's new offer, and YouTube would offer to pay even more. His contract alone is estimated to be around $5 million. Sykkuno, though, also had interests in other communities, such as VTubers. In 2023, for an April Fool's joke, he would debut his first VTuber model, extending his reach to a new niche community.
What it is he didn't so much have multiple girlfriends. He had one, like, committed girlfriend, but then he cheated on her with some of these other gals. Some of them didn't know, some of them did know. And from what screenshots I've seen, it sounds like the one who dropped this whole thing knew he had a girlfriend and just wanted him to break up with her or break up with his girlfriend to be with her. Which I have no sympathy for someone who is like, oh yeah, you've got your boy, yeah, you've got a girlfriend, that's fine. No, you should, it's, it reminds me of that song, I hate to say old song, but that old, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend. No way, I think you need a new one. That song. Thanks, Doki Bird, for reminding me that song's existence. But it just sounds, from what I've seen, and yeah, it just sounds like jealous girl got mad she didn't get picked. Because right now, I'm failing to see anything actually predatory on Sykkuno's part. Just, yeah, he's scummy because he cheated. Whoop-de-doo. Why does that need an hour-long video about him cheating?
The reason why I'm mentioning this is because at some point he was invited to a call with Senator Bernie Sanders alongside Valkyrie and Pokimane. And instead of showing his face, he chose to be a VTuber. This was so ridiculous, and it went so viral that he inadvertently kind of became a spokesperson for VTubing in one stream. I mean, God, everyone wanted a piece of that.
I will admit that
is funny. You would see him everywhere, collabing with everyone. And this was partly due to his very loyal and almost rabid fan base. But it was, of course, all by design. You see, back in 2023, Pokimane would make the very interesting revelation that Sykkuno had the highest female demographic.
Okay, hold on. This is something minor, but it still drives me nuts when people do it. The claim is not matching what he's showing on the screen. He just said he had the highest demographic. The title, the way people treat K-pop idols, Pokimane claims Sykkuno has the highest female demographic fan base as compared to any other streamer. There's a wide margin between claim
she would compare his level of fame and the way his fans acted towards him to K-pop idols. He simply wasn't seen like the run-of-the-mill Twitch streamer. No, there was definitely more to this. And one of the main reasons why this worked out so well is because he was seen as a boy failure. No, not the kind of guy who's unemployed and lives in a dump and smells like shit. I'm talking about the ideal boy failure.
Actually, no, I can't say I live in a basement. technically it's a converted garage, but...
The guy who's...
Dark, do I, oh, alright, hold on. Dark eye circles, yeah, I've got that. Cheap haircut, yeah, it's literally just take a razor. Third Red Bull, I'm not that. I don't drink Red Bull, I don't do energy drinks. Caffeine hits me way too hard. Free shirt from a Comic-Con, joke's on you! I can't afford to go to a Comic-Con. Has six-pack abs and is really tall for some reason. Well, I don't have a six-pack, but I am tall. 6 figures, but too lazy to wear anything but sweatpants. Very much, well, I'm half of that. I wear sweatpants a lot, but I do not make 6 figures. Wrists, yes, I have 2 of them.
He's handsome, smells nice, doesn't live in a dump, but is instead just a hopeless romantic. Someone who turns all red when you want to initiate physical contact.
Okay,
the most innocent, naive soul imaginable.
Okay, I mean,
the appeal of a boy failure isn't necessarily that he's a failure. It's the fact that he's perfect, but just needs one person to fix him. And that's how significant...
I used to know some gals when I was in high school who would deliberately, like, brush up against me or lean on me or whatever just to make me turn red. Looking back, it's funny, but at the time, I'm just like, what do I do?
Chunk of his fan base felt. If you've watched my channel before, then it's not too different from a girl failure that has a male audience that wants to fix her. It's the same parasocial mess.
Yeah, I
this
forgot.
can be very
Mujin
easily seen in some of the most viral fan-made videos of Sykkuno, like this one, for example, setting at over 3 million
that
views.
Actually
Sykkuno tells his trauma about girls. Sykkuno trusts his friend, this guy's toast, more than the girls. So this guy had barely any romantic experience, and yet still, he had his heart broken. He needs a woman that will fix him and tell him it'll be okay. And maybe she'll be one of his fans. If only he knew how handsome and amazingly desirable he was, though. Because he's another fan-made video. Everyone's simping for Sykkuno because who doesn't?
Okay.
I mean, God, if only he wasn't a boy failure and understood how smooth he was with women. But he's too naive. Because guess what? This video sitting at over 4 million views is titled Sykkuno being smooth with girls for 14 minutes.
All I'm getting from the past, like, 5 minutes is... women thirsted after him. And? Like, okay. I don't want to sound like a milady type, but are women just not allowed to, like, thirst? Guys do it, women do it. Like, what I don't get it. I've seen a fair few of these sorts of things for a number of, like, female creators. And for Queso. I don't know why. People, I don't know. I watch mostly VTubers. I get why Queso is, enjoyable or entertaining. It's just funny that in amidst some of these videos I'll get for VTubers I don't even watch, it'll just be like, oh yeah, here's Tenma, here's Iron Mouse, here's Shy Lily, here's Queso. One of these things is not like the others.
Yeah, I think you get the point by now, right? This image of him that was so carefully crafted would attract a very large female audience. It would also allow him to be one of the only male streamers to constantly be able to hang out with a majoritarily female friend group without him or them getting in trouble with their fan bases due to jealousy. The guy was innocent, allergic to love, and he wouldn't hurt a single fly. This allowed him to do things that other male content creators could never do. Like, dude, this is him sniffing the armpit of Fuslie at some point during a podcast when they were talking about body odor. This is how much he was trusted around women. And even though his audience was very obsessed over him, they saw him as so awkward, so incapable of understanding what love or social...
I don't care who it is. I don't care how comfortable I am. I am not sniffing a woman's armpit. I'm not sniffing a guy's armpit. That's just weird.
Cues mean that this was fine. They didn't mind because they were going to be the ones to fix him anyway. So it comes as no surprise that yes, some relationships literally ended over the girl's obsession over him. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if some gay relationships ended because of the same reason too. He was just that much of a sensation, and that crafted image he built around himself was just so believable.
Okay, in all seriousness now, I don't like how Mujin is framing this, because it seems like he's framing it as it's Sykkuno's fault that women got so obsessed with him, they broke up or caused their boyfriend to break up with them because they were just obsessed with her. Or with him, I mean. That's not Sykkuno's fault. That's not on him. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but that I don't like that.
Convincing.
I don't like that.
And so he'd
framing.
keep on doing what he's always done, and after his 2-year contract with YouTube would finally end during May 2024, he would make his grand comeback to Twitch, peaking at over 26,000 viewers. However, his viewer count would slowly begin...
Unless he's approaching every single female viewer for, like, nudes or hookups, that's not on him.
To drift.
How
and by
dare
April 2026, he'd be sitting at
interesting.
1,665 average viewers, a far cry from the peak of the pandemic back at 50,000. He also stopped collabing with larger content creators as much as he used to, mostly sticking to himself. But hell, I mean, 1,600 average viewers is still very easy to make a living off of. He had made his millions of dollars, had this incredibly obsessive fan base. As far as content creator careers go, this really wasn't so bad. The guy was a multimillionaire. What people weren't aware of, though, is that for many years since becoming a viral sensation, he would use his status as Sykkuno, as the most desirable streamer imaginable, as this K-pop idol, to pursue relationships with smaller or up-and-coming content creators, whether they be cosplayers or VTubers, manipulating them into thinking that they were special, all in the hopes of hooking up with them and while being in a monogamous relationship. This is the real Sykkuno.
He
and now
is going
finally
the route of, they're smaller, they have less viewers than him, therefore it's on him. So stupid. That's so stupid. Why does it have to be the assumption if a large creator streams with a small creator, it has to be, it's a problem. There's a power dynamic. Or, you know, maybe they just get along. Maybe. I don't get it. Times like this, I wish my model was a little more animated. If I'm ever somehow able to reach a point that I can get a 3D model, you will see how animated I am. I don't think I'm Italian, but man, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm doing it now. But yeah, no, I hate that argument so much.
Hemamal VT, who I'll refer to as Mal from now on, is someone who has been making content for the last year. She occasionally streams from time to time, but also tends to post cosplays on her Twitter profile, some of them being revealing. Those revealing cosplays would catch Sykkuno's attention, and he'd follow her on Valentine's Day of 2026. Within barely a few days, he would start talking about how they should move in together into the same house, all while having a girlfriend. When Mal would find out about the girlfriend, she would decide to write a Google document. The Google document would contain Mal's side of the story as well as Elfie Leah's side of the story. Another VTuber who, of course, also posts cosplays from time to time, which is why Sykkuno was interested in her to begin with. She also had no idea that Sykkuno had a girlfriend and would meet up with him during December 2025 in Paris when he would travel for a convention. Unlike Mal, though, she would actually end up sleeping with Sykkuno, again, completely oblivious that he has a girlfriend. They would both share their story.
Okay, that is scummy of Sykkuno. But I failed to see what's supposedly predatory.
Stories and the DMs with Sykkuno in the Google document. This document would be 32 pages long, and it would detail both of their experiences with Sykkuno, leading up to the revelation of the...
I'll have to... Hold on, does he... okay, he does have the Google Doc. So I will take a look at that.
Fact that he has a girlfriend, as well as a link to the full 17-minute YouTube video in which Mal would confront Sykkuno about cheating on his girlfriend with her. Here's how it would start off. On Valentine's Day of this year, I was followed on Twitter by Sykkuno. I thought it was amazing that such a big content creator even knew I existed, let alone followed me on social media. He had been my role model and someone I looked up to for a long time, ever since my days in high school. However, what I learned about Sykkuno after that day would make me regret my decision. Sykkuno is not the kind...
Would be, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool to be a small creator, be noticed by a big one. I won't falter for that.
Soft-spoken character you see on stream. He is a serial cheater, liar,
I've gotten
and manipulator
a little
who uses his status to get what he wants from as many women as possible. Specifically, ones who are smaller or up-and-coming content creators, knowing that he can take advantage of them. After confiding in many others that have had similar experiences with Sykkuno, I realized that this was not an isolated incident. In fact, it was something that had been going on for multiple years. He always made sure to cover his tracks and never left a paper trail significant enough for someone to make this public. But now, this has all changed. These are serious allegations, and I fully understand that this should not be treated lightly. I urge all other content creators who have been personally affected by Sykkuno's behavior to not remain silent, as I believe that there is strength in numbers. This document will not only include proof from me, but from another victim who has given me her consent as well. Below, you will find evidence that will expose this calculated pattern of love bombing and manipulation, as well as a recording of a voice call where he explicitly admits to all his wrongdoings.
I may not have to do everything.
Alright, so already this is one hell of an intro to the document, right? One thing I want to point out is the urging of all other content creators who have been personally affected by Sykkuno to come out about this.
Yes,
as I already mentioned,
the call to arms, if you will, which hasn't happened. It hasn't happened, which to me implies one of two things. Either A, there just actually weren't, and maybe he wasn't as big of a playboy as they're trying to paint him, or they don't want to speak up now because of how badly Mujin just screwed this over on Twitter.
There are many people who were affected by his actions throughout the years. In fact, if Sykkuno traveled to any expo or convention or event, then you can bet a hefty sum of money that he always had someone there who he flew out, hoping that he could bring them to his hotel room. Anyway, the next section of the document would be titled, Our First Conversation. After Valentine's Day, I was so excited about him following me that I told a friend who then urged me to strike up a conversation. I finally worked up the courage to send him a DM, and he replied right away. So here we can see on the 15th of February...
Okay, so... All this build-up to say he's approaching women for this stuff, but she's the one approaching him. Are you still looking for a Valentine's Day, perhaps?
Mal would send, are you still looking for a Valentine's date, perhaps? To which Sykkuno would say, so innocently, what? You can't just open up with something like that?
Anything.
And besides, Valentine's Day's almost over where I'm from already. To which she would reply with, I mean, we can always do a Valentine's Day do-over, you know? In the same first conversation, he brought up what kind of games he liked to play and invited me to play with him after a convention. On the left image, we can see them discussing sleep schedules, right?
Alright, I can take the healing kit and occasionally heal you in it. What time is it where you're from? It's 5:48 a.m., but I have a horrible sleep schedule. But you want to play? Are you awake? Da-da-da. Yeah, they are talking about sleep schedule. On a real note, a friend of mine dared me because I didn't know how to reach out. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to come off weird. You aren't weird at all, and I didn't say no, I guess. Lol, just kidding, just kidding. What games do you like to play? I'm like a massive game player. That's usually how I meet people or make friends.
Understanding what time it is for her, what time it is for him. And on the right image, we can see him say, what games do you like to play? I'm like a massive game player. That's usually how I meet people or make friends, to be honest. In the next couple of images, we can see Sykkuno talk about the game he was playing, which was Outlast Trials, saying that maybe Mal could carry him. She would agree, give him her Discord, and then wonder, hey, are you done soon with your stream? Because I'm getting tired. She hadn't slept all night. She was pulling an all-nighter. He'd apologize for taking so long, and then he'd say that he has a convention to go to. So after making her wait for like...
so I should sleep early. Let's play tomorrow. You had me waiting for a rain check. Let's see. One just wants to go for a Gundam game. I don't know what evidence this is supposed to be other than, yeah, we talked.
few hours, he would say, hey, listen, can we just play tomorrow? I have a convention to go to.
Don't know
and they
what
would agree, okay, let's
be.
play after the convention. This is what would lead us to the next section. Interest in where I live. For context, this is still the same day as the first conversation. Only moved to Discord in a few hours apart since I'm EU time zone and he's US time zone. So
okay,
yeah, these
let's
section.
see. Hold on.
Convention.
February 15th. Oh wait, okay. No, that is still the 15th of this year. Okay. I forgot. Non-American countries, they have it day, month, year instead of the superior month, day, year. I might get someone mad at me for that.
Interest in where I live. For context, this is still the same day as the first conversation. Only moved to Discord in a few hours apart since I'm EU time zone and he's US time zone. So yeah, these DMs have the timestamp of 10 a.m.
Yeah, I'll try that. Do they have an aquarium? I'm a big fan of aquariums. There's artists in Amsterdam. Could make it a date, to make up for Valentine's.
EU time? The last DMs we can see on Twitter were at 9 a.m. So this is barely an hour later after they added each other. Mal would continue by saying, things started out innocently enough with him inquiring about fun things to do near where I live, such as aquariums and conventions.
Yeah,
TwitchCon EU specifically.
No issue
I'd like to point out that I said we could go on a date to make up for Valentine's. He not once expressed to me any discomfort or that he wasn't single. So yeah, this is how it goes. If someone expresses interest in you, right, you typically tell...
Yeah, how far away is TwitchCon? Last days for May. So like actually a few months away.
Them fairly quickly that you're already in a committed relationship. You don't just let things slide. Mal had no reason to think that Sykkuno was already taken. Otherwise, he would have said something after she proposed a date. He'd ask, do they have an aquarium? I'm a big fan of aquariums. She'd say, there's artists in Amsterdam. Could make it a date, to make up for Valentine's. He'd only reply with,
at the very least, he probably should have said, mind if I bring my girlfriend along? I'll give him that, but again, no one's, at least that I've seen, has denied that, Sykkuno was a cheater.
Continuing on with his innocent persona, but he'd never say, oh, no, actually, wait, like, I want to meet up as friends. I'm actually in a relationship. Not once. The next section will be titled, Following My Private Instagram. He would also follow my personal private Instagram that is only available to my IRL friends and family while using his official Sykkuno account. So here we can see an image of Sykkuno following her with her personal account name being hidden.
I just realized...
The next section will be titled, Making Plans to Meet Me...
I just realized I misspelled his name in the title. Hold on. It's S-Y-K-K, not S-Y-Y-K. Oops. My bad.
In person. So bear in mind, this was the next day, okay, the 16th of February. They had started talking on the 15th. He followed her on the 14th.
Oopsie.
The document would say, in this 2-hour Discord gaming call, the same day as our first conversation, Sykkuno made plans to meet me IRL. It was set to be the same weekend as Dokumi 2026 since he was flying over anyway to attend TwitchCon EU. Going to the aquarium would be our first date. I also learned that there is a 15-year age gap between us. Right, so look, I personally spoke to the victim about this. I asked, would that usually have been like a red flag or a turnoff? She said yes, but the...
Okay, I hate the age gap discourse. As long as she's not a minor... Who cares? Who cares? Why does it matter?
This is Sykkuno we're talking about here, right? So she made an exception because as you saw in the intro of this document, she used to watch him in high school. She genuinely looked up to him. To say that she was starstruck was an understatement, and that's exactly what he was counting on.
Okay, now once again, I really don't like that framing like he was a groomer. If she'd been watching him since she was 15, it is very much implied she is now an adult. Especially since it's, 2026. And, so he started back... So, she'd be an adult by now. And so, who cares? It's not like he was messaging her... when she was a minor, that would be an actual issue. But no, it's two adults messaging. Who cares? Who cares? There's no grooming because he didn't know her.
That 15-year age gap
That's
in mind,
so retarded.
This next section definitely hits different. It's titled, Making Plans to Move In Together. These messages would be on the 17th of February, 2 days after they started talking.
Okay.
It would say, with Sykkuno, our relationship moved so incredibly fast it almost felt like a dream. It was like he could make anything I wanted happen, and as someone as prolific and successful as him, I had no reason to doubt anything he said to me. These screenshots show that Sykkuno and I were intending to adopt a cat and have me possibly move into his house. I told him we couldn't get a cat yet due to me not being a US citizen and possibly having visa issues.
Okay. Someone is prolific and successful. I have no reason to doubt anything he said to me. I'm sorry, but Mal sounds kind of like an idiot. Why would you assume because someone is successful, there's not a chance that they're deceiving you? Especially since you've known him for a whole 2 days. Mal, I don't suppose you'd be willing to buy a bridge off me.
Mind, this conversation happened 2 days after the first conversation.
Oh, that's
so in this first image of these set of DMs, we can see them talking about pets in general.
Okay, let's see what he actually talks about, or what he actually brings up. Ooh, I get that. I'm allergic to grass. Not as bad, but I can get really dizzy from it. It's the only allergy I have if you're come to visit. Also, aren't pets bad for your condition? I don't know how sensitive it is, but sometimes cat's hairs make it worse. Dog is fine. He's not very allergenic. Well, family dog. Okay, I'm not... Maybe there's a little more,
about
a little
how he might
later?
be allergic to certain pets, about how his current dog doesn't trigger his allergies. So they start discussing...
Okay, this is a bit more... I mean, if I'm there anyways, we'll have to think of a name. Yeah, I don't know if I can take care of it by myself. Or are you just gonna name it Cat? You'll have to stay to help take care of it. Okay. Go back to studying and this year. I'm gonna get a cat together another time then. Besides, do I have a cat? They're your dad's. Okay, so...
prospect of getting a cat.
Yeah,
Mal would say, I mean, if I'm there anyways, we'll have to think of a name now. To which Sykkuno would say, yeah, but I don't know if I can take care of it myself. Mal would say, or were you just going to name it Cat? He'd say, you'll have to stay to help take care of it, lol. To which she'd say, I'm okay with that. Though I don't know how that would work with me staying there. I can't stay forever either, you know, because I'm not an American citizen and I'll also probably have to go back as well. Because I mean, I hope at least that I can go back to studying end of this year. And like in general, everything is so expensive. And then he'd say, oh yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe we can get a cat together another time then. Besides, don't you already have a cat? Which she'd say, yeah, but they're my dad's. Also, did you finally order the food? And he'd say, oh, I see. So you wouldn't have to bring them if you just moved somewhere. To which she'd say, no, I guess not though. I've missed them so much, so I definitely have to get new pets. So barely a couple days after speaking to each other, Sykkuno's out here discussing getting a pet together, taking care of it, raising it together, and looking into the possibility of her maybe moving in together with him one day. This was as he was sharing a home with his girlfriend. The next section will be titled, Lying About Being Single and Dating History. In this screenshot, Sykkuno said he has only ever had one relationship.
I'm beating a dead horse. That's really stupid to say, I've known you for 2 days, let's move in together. So I only ever had one relationship, that's a lie.
His entire life.
Okay,
I would eventually find out that was a lie and that he had been dating and living in the same house as his girlfriend for years and that I was not the only girl on the internet that he spoke to on a daily basis. So here we can see DMs of them discussing this topic. Mal would say, I mean, you've been in relationships before. It's not like it's your first.
I've only like actually dated someone once and they broke up with me.
Relationship,
so yeah, I mean,
referencing what they might potentially have going on. To which he'd reply with, I don't know, lol. I've only like actually dated someone once and they broke up with me, so yeah, I think I'm just not very good, so it's probably just a me issue. To which he'd say, did you like never do anything for your ex, like at all? To which he'd say, I mean, I think I did. I don't think she thought I did, so yeah. But I mean, everyone has their own way of what they want, so it's important to be like, are you getting what you want? And if you're not, I totally understand. Mal, of course, would want to inquire as to what he was saying. Like, what do you mean you think you did? Like what? But he'd never specify, and he'd always keep it vague. Keeping up this persona that he crafted, the one that was allergic to love, that had no idea like what was going on with women. This would lead us right into the next section titled Sexting. We texted every single day, and these interactions would be charged with
every single day for 2 days. Well, technically 5 days because it, well, Yeah, so about a week at most. I can't math right now. Because we're seeing some of these texts, like these last ones, these are on the 20th. But if you look down here at the bottom, underneath the little bar for YouTube, these are back to the 17th. So...
We texted every single day, and these interactions would be charged with flirting and suggestive topics. I would send him suggestive pictures and audios, and he would confirm that he'd touch himself to them. Additionally, he'd always act flustered and inexperienced, keeping up the illusion of his on-stream innocent persona. We'd also regularly talk about date ideas and things we'd like to do together in the future when we'd meet up IRL. Topics that are usually discussed between two adults who are clearly romantically interested in each other. On top of texting, we also called almost every single day, even after he'd stream for over 8 hours. We'd talk and play games regularly. One thing I'd noticed is that every time we called and when he spoke, he'd be whispering and never fully use his voice. His excuse was that it's because he was tired after a long stream, and I didn't really find that to be suspicious. Using your voice for 8 hours in a row does exhaust it after all. I now realize that he was quiet because his girlfriend lived with him and he didn't want her to hear. So in this first set of DMs, we can see them discussing things to watch together. Sykkuno saying, let's watch something.
You ditch TwitchCon for me. We should watch Netflix dating show. Okay, and again, these are both back to the 17th, so I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's see. This is at 22:51. Let's jump back to these. Okay, yeah, these were on the 15th. 22:51.
Mal would say
I wanted to verify because it seems like this is a continuation of the whole, yeah, I've got a con to go to conversation.
Let's watch a cooked Netflix dating show because those are funny.
Once again,
or both.
2 whole
and Mal
days
would say
later.
we should. And do you also want to play games like Helldivers or Overwatch or etc.? In the next image, we can see them discussing the spicy audio that she sent him at some.
Okay. Let's see. I might have, depending on what they say. I mean, I'm not seeing anything censored, so I'm going to assume that this stuff is okay for Twitch and YouTube. YouTube, like in that audio recording I sent you, you sounded really cute. Ever re-listened to it? Tried my best to sound good. Oh, you said you wanted the new Resident Evil game. We'll work out together. I can spot you. Okay, and this is just talking about date ideas.
Point. He'd say, you do too. She would say, yeah, like in that audio recording I sent you, to which she would act flustered over and say, huh? Oh my god, well, yes, you really sounded cute in that too. To which she would say, did you ever re-listen to it? Or only that once? In the next screenshot, we can see them discussing going on a gym date. Mal expressed to him how much she enjoys going to work out at the gym, and so Sykkuno would inquire about what a gym date looks like. This is when they discuss it more. In the next 2 set of DMs, we can see them talking about more spicy topics. Mal would say, you get flustered so easily. And then Sykkuno would say, because I'm not. I've never done like this kind of thing before, lol. To which she would say, and? You don't like it? He'd continue saying, which is crazy because I'm older than you, but like I haven't really dated much, so... And then Mal would say, so? You have me now. He'd reply with, my XP bar is low, but no, I do it. I've never gotten something like this before. Yes, I like it. It's so good. I can't wait to use it later. As in, I can't wait to grill my sausage to it later. Whatever she sent. To which she would reply with, you know, I've kind of wondered if you've ever touched yourself while watching what I send you. To which he'd say, what? Why would you wonder that? She'd say, well, because they're spicy pictures and videos. Of course, I wonder if you put them to use. And then he'd say, I'll definitely put this one to use. She'd say, so you've never done so before? And then he would say, maybe in all caps with a flustered sweating emoji. This is when she'd put her foot down and say, I want a yes or no. And then he would say, yes, of course I have. How could I not? Overall, these DMs were a balance of spicy
Once again, I don't like that framing. I do not like how he's framing that. Like, it's 2 people, you know, she's sexting him, he's responding. But, you know, she put her foot down. She wanted a yes or a no. That's not at all what happened. That is not how this reads. this reads more of flirtatious. It's all about tone changes a lot. And so when he's saying she's pulling a I want a yes or a no. But when you actually read this reads more like a I want a yes or a no. You know, like she's being more of the I don't know, the best way I could think of is like a top or a bottom. She's being more of the initiator. So again, while yes, he is cheating and he is wrong for cheating, this isn't quite reading in the same framing Mujin is putting out there.
Of course I have. How could I not? Overall, these DMs were a balance of spicy and wholesome, just like what you'd expect when two people are romantically interested in each other, saying goodnight to each other, inquiring on their health. He'd compliment her on her appearance. She'd say, I love getting compliments from you. Good morning, handsome. What are you up to? But this romantic interest wouldn't just be expressed with words. No, for Sykkuno, he'd make sure to express it financially, too. This is what would lead us to the next section, titled Sugar Daddy. Less than a month later, Sykkuno would randomly ask for my PayPal account in DMs. He'd then waste no time in sending me money unprompted, something that I'd later realize was simply a behavioral pattern that he'd employ with women he'd express interest in.
Well,
I want to reiterate that I have never asked him for his money, and he did this of his own volition. He bought me both a gym jacket, linked below, and
their side hoe, if you will. Because it's a matter of trying to keep them invested.
Resident Evil 9, because I had expressed interest in that game. Here we can see two payments. The first one sent on the 28th of February 2026, 81 euros, and the second one being 200 euros.
I will say it's also not unheard of for friends to do that. I've done it unprompted for friends before, where I'm just like, they expressed interest in a game. Oh, hey, you should check your Steam real quick. I've had it happen for me, where someone's like, hey, Malum, you should check your Steam. Huh? Oh, cool, thank you. That's not unheard of. Also, this is less than $300.
On the 5th of March 2026.
Unless there's
the sender
a lot
was the
more,
business,
I hesitate
Sykkuno.
to call someone
He innocently asked for a PayPal username.
Nope, he's not. There's nothing more being shown. Okay. I'm very hesitant to call under $300 or 300 pounds, excuse me, being a sugar daddy. This sounds like people who have never had actual friendship with someone. Again, yes, cheaters will do that to try and keep their adulteress kind of hooked in, but they're still framing it as a lot worse than what is actually being shown. And I say they because I am less and less convinced that Mujin did this on his own.
28th of February. He'd start off the conversation with, you still aren't asleep either? To which she'd say, I fell asleep, woke up again because I'm having trouble sleeping. He would then say, oh, well, good morning. And what's your PayPal so I can buy you games later? She'd say, huh?
Okay.
Straight to the point. Jesus, I need to update my email to my PayPal because it's my old name from before I rebranded.
Yeah, no,
when he would send her money for a gym jacket,
that's again, okay, so we're back to that gym jacket, which, this is frustrating me. This feels, we're about a half hour in, and this feels like the biggest nothing burger. Right now, the only person I feel bad for is Sykkuno's girlfriend. Because so far, she's the only innocent party. Everyone else just seems scummy.
At some point, she'd say, want me to send it back? To which he'd say, no, I wanted you to get a nice gym vest, lol. Especially because it seems like you're really passionate about working out, so I thought it'd be nice. And then you can remember me when you're wearing it. I thought it was a cute idea.
Okay.
She'd buy one, she'd wear it, she'd send it to him, and she'd say, I wore it with the green set because I know how much you like green. She'd also make a tweet on her account while wearing it, saying, this gym jacket is literally so comfy, the muscle mommy arc will be real. So up until this point, this was Mal's experience with Sykkuno. The next section is titled A Cal-
Yeah, I don't get what the purpose of that was there at the end. Like, yeah, he bought her this, and so she sent him a picture of her wearing it. And then she posted it on Twitter. That's nothing. That has no impact on any of this.
And she'd say, I wore it with the green set because I know how much you like green. She'd also make a tweet on her account while wearing it, saying, this gym jacket is literally so comfy, the muscle mommy arc will be real. So up until this point, this was Mal's experience with Sykkuno. The next section is titled A Calculated Pattern of Love Bombing and Manipulation. And this is where we talk about Elphilia's side of the story.
Okay.
The document would say, after speaking to Elphilia a few days ago, we were able to corroborate our experiences with Sykkuno and learned that we were both victims of this. We had no idea that he was talking to both of us at the same time.
Okay,
Sykkuno is known to send hundreds of dollars to the girls he wants to get involved with. This screenshot is from when he took my friend Elphilia to Paris during the 2025 TFT tournament, along with sending her 500 euros to help her move into her new apartment. You can clearly see that this was sent from his business email's PayPal account. So unlike the other image that was supplied by Mal, here we can clearly see this is Sykkuno at hotmail.com sending her all this money.
Okay, see, this is a bit more... This is a better representation of being a quote-unquote sugar daddy. Because, yeah, 500, let's see, 5, 4, 3, and then I'll say 250. I'll round up. That's effectively 1,450 euros. Okay, that definitely leans more in that direction than the whole $281.
A substantial amount, around 1,550 euros.
But then again, that's also not a lot for someone like Sykkuno.
All under his business email. Here are the DMs in which we can see that he offered to pay for her flight to TFT Paris as well as all the food and hotel fees there, pretty much taking care of her financially during the entire trip.
So
this starts off as far back as April 2025, with Sykkuno telling Elphilia, I'm probably going to Paris later this year for sure, I'm not sure on TwitchCon yet, I'm afraid I don't know enough people. He'd say, you should come to Paris when I go to it, is it close? To which she'd say, Paris is pretty easy to go to, yeah, since it's in the European Union. He'd say, you better hang out then when I go there. She'd reply with, I'll have to see because I know nothing and no one there and it's expensive. To which he would say, I'll pay for it, don't worry. She'd say, whoa, really? You do that? And then he'd say, yeah, of course. And all the food. She'd of course be ecstatic about this and say, you'd have to deal with my annoying ass though. And he would say, but you gotta choose places to eat, like the restaurants. And she'd say, deal. One day later, he'd reiterate, you're fine, you never have to pay for anything, don't worry, lol. How much is the flight usually from Netherlands to Paris and back? Because she lived in the Netherlands at the time. So I think I'm going for like a TFT tournament or something like that. On the 10th of December 2025, we can see her saying...
I'm gonna just say it because this is just getting annoying for me. This video would be so much shorter if he had just said... If he had cut out a lot of the... Again, fluff, and just said, here are the screenshots, pause to read them as you will, and just like spend like 30 seconds, say, you know, have one image up for 5 seconds, next image 5 seconds, next, move on. That's a pet peeve of mine for any video. That's not exclusive to Mujin, but it's a pet peeve nonetheless.
I'm boarding now, see you soon, to which he would reply with, see you soon, you have the hotel info, right? Since they were going to share a room. This brings us to the next section titled Elphilia's Experience. Elphilia would talk to Sykkuno on and off for the span of 5 years. During that time, she had absolutely no idea that he had a girlfriend in the 5 years that she had known him, and on and off flirted with him. Anytime she would bring up the topic of his love life, he would give the response of playing too many games and not going out enough to meet women to date. So bear in mind, she knew him since like 2021, back when he was like the most desired man on the entirety of Twitch or the streaming space. And even with all that flirting, he never once mentioned the relationship he's been in.
Which, yeah, he should have. But, and again, I sound like a broken record. I'm not denying that he is a serial cheater. I think that's pretty clear. But also, he is not responsible for women flirting with him. That's not on him. These women are adults. They are responsible for their own actions. Shoot, if they were, like, high schoolers, they would still be... If they're kids, they're responsible for their own actions. Kids shouldn't be doing that, especially not to adults. But in any circumstance, they are responsible for their own actions. Why are we painting women flirting with Sykkuno as Sykkuno's fault? Is he leading them on? Sure, that's fair. But I mean, shoot, I've known people. This is purely hyperbolic. I get that. I've known people who have been flirted with, even when they're dating, when they're married, when they make it clear, I'm not interested, I'm married, or I'm seeing someone. It's not these people's fault that someone's flirting with them. Ugh. I'm gonna give myself a headache.
Since 2021, so this was in the beginning of his relationship as well. So in this next set of DMs, we can see Elfilia saying, also, I have a question for you. Why are you single? Like, how? To which he'd say, huh? That's a crazy question, lol. I think it's a combination of like playing too many games. To which he'd say, why crazy? Why is it a crazy question? The guy was desired by anyone. Even after his viewership had fallen down a little bit, he could still DM anyone and get them to date him. It didn't make sense. The document would say, same calculated behavior and patterns, using his nerdy gamer boy facade to lure women into a false narrative. In this next set of DMs, Elfilia would be saying, you're cute. You're this sweet to all girls, or am I just lucky? To which he'd say, wah, lol, only to the ones I think are cool. So as we can see, Elfilia is just starstruck. She can't believe this.
She is, and also completely ignoring the fact he just said, only to the ones I think are cool, which implies there's more.
So lucky that Sykkuno, the guy who's desired by everyone, is giving her attention out of anyone else in the world. This is the effect he had on people, and he knew this. And just like with Mal, he would follow her personal Instagram with his official Sykkuno Instagram page. It's genuinely like a deja vu to what he did with Mal. Like, it's the same patterns.
I still don't get what following someone's personal account does for anything. I mean, on the one hand, yeah, that's dumb of him if he's cheating, when he's cheating on his girlfriend. But it's also not a strike against him. Like, is he just not allowed to follow women on social media?
The guy had a playbook, and he knew how to put it to use. The document would continue. Here is proof that Sykkuno was in Paris for the TFT event around this time too, directly from his Twitter. So here you can see this was posted around the 13th of December 2025 when he was in Paris. In this first tweet on the left, we can see him taking an image of Lily Pichu, who was also there, as well as him retweeting one of TFT's tweets saying, ultimate bragging rights have been secured at the TFT Paris Open.
For some
reason, them announcing that
it's team fight tactics. Why every time I see TFT, I keep thinking Team Fortress 2. I was like, no, he was not a Team Fortress player. Why is my brain the way it is?
Sykkuno's team had won, confirming that he was indeed there. The next page of the document would show us a set of DMs between Sykkuno and Elfilia. The date would be the 3rd of March, 2026. So this would be 3 months after they had met up and hooked up. And this would be as he was talking with Mal. He'd say, oh my god, I was playing World of Warcraft, I saw this player, it reminded me of you.
Hold on. Did I have a stroke, or has he not actually talked about when they hooked up? It's just suddenly, oh yeah, this is after they hooked up. What? Okay, either I just completely stroked out and I'm gonna look like an idiot for missing that, or I just got the worst case of whiplash I've ever had.
Because that player had a similar looking name. She'd say, oh, you got reminded of me? That's cute. To which he'd say, of course. Oh, I was going to ask, were you planning on going to like Offkai or anything like that? That's a VTuber Expo, right? To which she would say, I wish, but unfortunately I can't. My rent is now 800 euros per month and I'm living fully off of my savings, so I canceled all my travels for the year. The document would say, to add even more salt to the wound, after Elfilia's Paris trip, and 2 weeks after he had started talking to me, saying things like how he wants to move in with me and such, he would message Elfilia asking her if she'll be at Offkai. This is proof that...
Wait a minute. This is March 3rd. Alright, I'm at 3108. Back when he was messaging her... Okay, no, it is. Okay. Okay, just... for some, my brain was just, I don't know. I was thinking it was March before for some of the stuff, not February. Okay.
And 2 weeks after he had started talking to me, saying things like how he wants to move in with me and such, he would message Elphilia asking her if she'd be an off guy. This is proof that he'd be talking to more than
I'm just being dumb.
one woman at the same time, planning a hookup for every event he went to. He was doing this while giving me the impression that he wanted something long-term, and all while also having a girlfriend since 2021. Elphilia and I weren't friends until I found out that he was cheating on his girlfriend. This is when we both got in contact with each other and shared our stories. She deserves the world. The section would end with both Sykkuno and Elphilia talking about random topics, and then at the end of this DM chain, we can see Sykkuno saying, "How was your day?" To which she would reply with, "Awful. Spent the whole day crying. Crying right now. Why do some men cheat? I'll never understand." The document points out that this is ironic, seeing that Sykkuno is a cheater himself. So as you can
ironic, yes. Important, no.
See, when these two women spoke to each other and shared their stories, they were shocked. Shocked to know that they were being used so casually, and shocked to know that this man was in a relationship. But how is it that he did this for years with no consequences? How is it that there are many Elphilias and Mals out there with no one saying a thing? Well, they kind of did, which is what the next section is all about. It's titled Rumors and Broken Friendships. As I mentioned in the intro, no one made a public statement before because they never had sufficient evidence. Sykkuno would always talk about the most explicit and sensitive topics.
I also just realized, hold on, I need to actually turn down the desktop audio a little bit because, oh boy, I forgot I had to crank it up for some of the games earlier this week. So I hope what I've said before when he's been talking is actually audible. I really hope I didn't screw myself over. Apologies if I did.
In voice calls
I can't go back and redo that.
Trail, this was all intentional. Rumors still managed to spread. Many content creators, both big and small, would vent to their friends about his behavior. Behind the scenes for many, he'd be known as a predator who regularly took advantage of smaller and or vulnerable content creators. The reason why Sykkuno would abruptly stop hanging out with certain people throughout the years is because of this predatory behavior.
There it is. There it is again. This is not predatory. Scummy, yes. Predatory, no. He is at no point through any of what they have shown coerced anyone.
However, he'd managed to keep enough influential friends around him to legitimize his position in the space, especially seeing that many of those friends were women who would have normally stood in solidarity.
Yes, I know. Dictionary definition. But this is the internet. What do most people associate with the word predatory? Stalkers. Pedophiles. Like, just, you know, sexual assault. That's the thing that gets equated to with this. And for the record, when it comes to, like, this Elphilia or Eliflia? Yeah, her. It keeps changing between where it's written. I'm not sure. I'm going to go off what Mujin said. Elphilia. If she may have, I don't know. But if someone were to come out and claim that she was sexually assaulted by him, that's not how it works. If you consented to sleeping with someone, regardless of what you knew at the time, that is not sexual assault. You do not get to claim sexual assault for something that both you and he willingly did when neither of you were inebriated. If he got someone drunk and slept with them, okay, yeah. But if you're both, like, just willing participants, that's not sexual assault. That's not predatory.
With any sort of victim, making it seem like he was safe enough to trust because they trusted him enough to be a friend. As Elphilia spoke with Sykkuno, she'd tell him about rumors that she had heard from someone else, about how Sykkuno had a roster of readily available women, and how they all coincidentally were smaller content creators who wouldn't dare touch him if something went wrong.
Yep,
Elphilia,
they're going that
route. Of course, didn't believe this. After all, Sykkuno had a calculated pattern that worked perfectly in his favor. His innocent, naive demeanor wouldn't dare hurt a fly.
Predatory.
So why would he hurt me?
Not.
So now we can see DMs between Elphilia and Sykkuno.
That's not how it works.
Saying, I don't know, he said he dislikes you, referencing a friend of hers, and that you only go for girls that are small so you can manipulate them with your shy persona. Yet he is doing that to my friend right now. To which Sykkuno would say, oh yeah, I mean, I don't think that's true, but I guess people will say stuff randomly. I'm confused as to these people who think I'm going for them. I haven't really done that. But anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, like I said before, people who know me will know me, and I guess he just dislikes me, which is totally fine.
Okay.
She'd say, exactly. He did say the only reason you haven't gotten called out is because you go after small creators and they'll never expose you. If you ever need proof of anything, I have receipts, just in case he tries anything funny. Sykkuno would say, oh, I feel like the way VTubers are, they would love to try and expose bigger streamers. They love drama, lol. But it's not true, so I think it's fine. I don't need receipts or anything. It's fine.
I can't say he's wrong there. How many Google Docs have come out this year alone for the dumbest reasons? At this point, I keep seeing the meme of, sir, another Google Docky has hit the tower. At this point, they're running out of towers. There are no skyscrapers left. It's all... a lot of smaller VTubers, and I don't get it, but maybe it's just because I just don't care. I don't have the energy to do it. I also have, you know, morals and a conscience, but that's beside the point. It's drama, well, for lack of a term that would get me in trouble on everywhere, it's being a drama fiend, because drama brings in clicks. Drama brings in the views. So it's the hopes of, oh, if I expose this person for this thing that is not actually an issue, whatever, you know, insert non-issue here, then I'll get views. People will pity me. People will side with me. And I'll get a lot of support, and I'll be the next big VTuber. And well, when everyone does it, no one takes it seriously anymore. That's just how the interwebs work. That's just how people are. It's the old boy who cried wolf story. So, I don't know. It's just so tiring, man. And I hate to say it, but Sykkuno is 100% correct here. Because they really do. I think this is a case in point.
I'm kind of sad he was so angry. Elphilia would say, I know, just making sure you stay safe no matter what, love. Sykkuno would continue saying, I mean, why is he bringing up so much anyway, though? To which she'd say, he's jealous of you. I'm just playing League with him, and he brought you up out of the blue. To which she'd say, I don't think there's much to be jealous of.
Hate someone so much just out of the blue,
soon. And Elphilia ends this by saying,
oh yeah,
he said
you know
he
who
hurt
I hate?
5 of his friends, apparently.
I don't care.
So this was on the 22nd of December after they had met IRL, and Elphilia had no reason to doubt him, right? She still had no idea that he had a girlfriend since 2021. This is why she was still so readily siding with him. And speaking of cheating, this is what would lead us to the section, Sykkuno's girlfriend.
Again,
the coincidence that would lead me to finding out the truth about Sykkuno happened last week. A popular male VTuber tried to slide into my DMs to presumably get in my pants, and when I rejected him, he immediately started to mention nasty rumors about
Oh yeah,
Bao.
I remember that. Bao made a comment that, whether intentionally or not, came off as incredibly misandrist. Very, very all men bad because some men bad. I remember that. She got a lot of flack for that. So if that's connected to Sykkuno, why was she so vague? What? Okay, I'm just gonna move on.
Concerned for her, I reached out to Ahmad, who then connected me with Bao. The three of us struck
up
a
conversation. I don't want to dwell on that. I'm
just
just gonna get angry.
Date I was going on. They asked me who it was. When I said my date was with Sykkuno, they immediately told me not to go on the date for my own personal safety. Bao told me that at the end of March, Sykkuno's girlfriend reached out to her regarding a controversial tweet Bao made last year in 2025.
Okay.
She asked Bao if it was true that the tweet was about Sykkuno. So this tweet in question, if you were on Twitter back in October 20...
Okay, I'm glad he's bringing it up, I guess. Yeah, if you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream and DMs, etc., don't walk, run! Yeah, no, that kind of comes off... Like, I get the idea, especially with the context, but it does also come off as, if you're a small female VTuber, any man with a larger view count than you, assume he's only here to get in your pants. Assume the worst, no matter what. Like, phrasing. Why is phrasing so hard? All she had to do was say, you know, instead of that definitive, just say, hey, if you're an up-and-coming female content creator, or how about if you're an up-and-coming creator with a small but growing audience, and a much larger and successful content creator approaches you and showers you with attention, be cautious. I don't think there's anything controversial about that. But, yeah, no, once again, vagueness just causes problems.
2025, you would have probably seen it. It went absolutely viral, and it simply just said, if you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. To 99% of people, this was Bao giving smaller content creators very well-needed advice. In reality, though, this was a subtweet directly referencing Sykkuno's behavior. Because the document would continue,
that is
they
the
called,
claim.
as in Bao and Sykkuno's girlfriend, and
far
Bao
as,
explained to her that other women had confided in her about...
Issue I have with that, unless Bao has said something and I missed it, this is just claims. There's no evidence behind that.
Similar experiences with him. She described a pattern of behavior where he targeted small female content
unless
creators
she
and pressured them into
directly
having
states,
sex with
yes,
him.
this
Bao
is
then
about
offered to connect her with these other victims so they could share their experiences with her directly, as she felt it was important to hear them
about
firsthand.
anyone. That could be about Vidal. That could be about Hassan. That could be about Asmongold. It could be about Porcelain Maid. It could be about Sayu. It could, unless we have confirmation. You could just copy-paste that, or you could copy all of this and change Sykkuno for any other large content creator, any other large male content creator in this case. And there would be no way of confirming or denying.
Was all discussed during a Discord call. And
if
so
it wasn't clear,
sent by Sykkuno's girlfriend on March 24, 2026 to Bao, saying,
would much rather have actual evidence.
I heard something recently that was a bit concerning, and I thought I would just come ask you about it. I heard that there was possibly an instance of Sykkuno trying to get VTuber girls up to his hotel room to drink with them, and that the tweet you made about being cautious of large male streamers showering you with gifts and attention was about him, in regards to him doing it to one of your friends? You know, before we get back to the document, this actually reminds me of this one tweet that was posted on Twitter back in October 21st, 2025 during TwitchCon North America, where an innocent fan came across Sykkuno in the lobby of a hotel at 2 a.m. One can only wonder what he was doing there, but as you can see, rumors are very easy to spread once you spot someone in a hotel lobby at 2 a.m.
Yeah, rumors are very easy to spread. This has no correlation.
Oh yeah. The document would continue. Bao told me that 3 days before I contacted
her
and her mod, Sykkuno and his girlfriend were trying to reconcile after Sykkuno
that
somehow
feels
managed
like
to convince her
muddy the
that it was all
waters
a huge misunderstanding.
To further
she had no clue
demonize
that
him.
as well as many other girls, still existed in Sykkuno's romantic and sexual life. Bao and her mod would put me in a group chat with Sykkuno's girlfriend where I would share all the screenshots you see above. She was right.
Okay, hold on. So this was on the 24th of March. So person messaging Bao, but their name is censored. that raises a red flag for me. Because there's no way of confirming, one, who sent it. It could be Mal, it could be Elphalia, it could be anyone. But also, when we get to here... Actually, hold on, I just noticed. Because this is on the 24th. Okay, told me 3 days before I contacted them. Wow, they put me into the group chat. So this is over the course of a period of time. Because this is... Now it says yesterday. So this was obviously... It has to have been at least a day later. I've lived with them for over 2 years, been together. And again, we don't know for sure if this is actually the person because everything's censored. Too much. So this could very easily just be someone talking to themselves or talking to a friend in a chat and just censoring it. They could be role-playing, censor the names, and post this as evidence. Without the names, there is no way to know for sure if this is actually real. That's the problem when you try to put out an expose like this. You need hard evidence to do any of this. Vagaries do not help your case. It makes you potentially look worse because from personal experience, some of the worst kind of people are those who would go out of their way to falsely accuse. That's part of why I'm being so hard on this, I admit. Because I've experienced false accusations. I've been accused of... I wouldn't go so far as to say predatory, but I've been accused of being a creep because someone a pastor's daughter got knocked up by her boyfriend, so she wanted to take attention off of that, and suddenly I am all sorts of things I never knew I was. I learned a lot of new stuff about myself over the course of the following months. So, maybe I'm a little trigger happy on that. I won't deny that. But, and again, I'm not denying that he is a cheater. But there's so many of these things trying to paint him as so much worse that are nothing burgers, or there's just not enough evidence to be satisfactory. There's not enough to say, yes, he was actually doing all of this. All these extra things. Yes, he was this horrible monster. Oh, dagnabbit, my face is breaking again. Alright, there. I get no more facial movement for me.
It would put me in a group chat with Sykkuno's girlfriend where I would share all the screenshots you see above.
So, I don't like, if you're going to make a solid claim like this...
This is where we can see DMs in the group chat from Sykkuno's girlfriend saying, I've lived with him for over 2 years. We have been together since 2021. And on top of that, everything he's planning with you.
Guilty, or I'm sorry, innocent until proven guilty. Not guilty until proven innocent.
At this point, I wouldn't be able to imagine what I would feel if I was in Mal's shoes or anyone else's shoes that Sykkuno had taken advantage of. In fact, I mean, I can't imagine being his girlfriend. Hearing these rumors about someone I lived with in the same home and finding out about it this way. Even after he managed to convince me that him sleeping with someone back in December 2025 was a misunderstanding.
Once again, right now, the only victim I'm seeing in this is Sykkuno's
to all of Sykkuno's victims. Ever since Sykkuno's viral breakout during the pandemic lockdowns of 2020 when he played Among Us, he has always carefully curated every aspect of his behavior on stream and with friends. An innocent, romantically inexperienced boy failure who looks like an anime character and sounds like one too. This perfectly curated image would attract a large audience of women, with a lot of them openly professing how attracted they are to him. He soaked in the praise and never sought to limit the most extreme aspects of his community because it made him more desirable. He understood this, and would use this curated image, as well as his legitimacy in the content creation space thanks to his followers and famous friends, to seek out any attractive cosplayers and or content creators that were small enough to be starstruck by his grand presence. It would work most of the time, as he'd use the same calculated pattern that he used with me and Elphilia to lure them in, and eventually fly them out to the next convention or event that he went to with the goal of hooking up. What these many women didn't know, though, is that he'd always lie about the fact that he's single. That behind the scenes, he had a neglected and depressed girlfriend that he'd been with since 2021 and who has lived with him since 2024 in the same house. I implore the many other victims to come out about their experiences with this predator. And I end this document with a recording of Sykkuno in which he admits to everything, especially with how he cheated on his girlfriend with my friend and was intending to do that with me as well. For context, this was shortly after I had messaged his girlfriend about his cheating. 30 minutes later, he would ask if I was free for a call. As his girlfriend was crying downstairs, he somehow chose to prioritize someone that he barely met 2 months ago. She's referring to herself. I pointed this out during the call. Here's the link. So the link isn't here right now, but obviously it will be by the time this video comes out. It's okay though, because I have the video. And if you're wondering why you should watch it here, well,
yeah,
it's because
once again, this goes back to the claim that he wasn't working with anyone. He had only started talking to her shortly before. But then he's got all of this context. These sorts of videos, especially one this long, takes more than like a week to do. If it only took a week, he would be putting these out just one right after the other. So, no, things don't line up.
Sykkuno's voice is so damn low. I mean, the guy was whispering as if someone was after him with a gun, that you could barely tell what he's saying. I actually bothered to add subtitles. This whole recording is 17 minutes long, and as the document stated, he pretty much admits to everything.
Okay, well, let's see if that's true.
Hello.
See, right here, at least we can see this is Mal, unlike those claimed Discord things earlier.
Thomas?
Hello.
So?
Well, pretty much know most of it.
Okay.
Yeah? Like what?
Know what?
No, you can tell me.
Okay. Well, wasn't very honest.
Oh.
Okay, I don't like how smug she's being about it.
Sing.
About what? You have to speak up a little bit. Your mic is cutting out.
Sorry, always happens. About being single, and I just wanted to tell you how it happened.
Okay.
You're still gonna have to speak up a little bit, by the way. You're still cutting out a lot.
Sorry, you know how I talk quietly.
Yeah, but you never talk this quietly.
I'm sad.
It's the actions of your... Well, it's the consequence of your own actions, I suppose.
I know.
Mm.
So basically,
Okay.
I was in a very happy relationship.
Doesn't sound like it, but sure.
Okay.
Well, let me finish.
Yeah, no, I hate to... I was just gonna say what he said. Like, let the man finish? Because if you're just gonna keep talking over him, there's no point in him even trying to do that. Which, I mean, maybe she doesn't want to hear him out, but 17 minutes, I would assume she does. If you're gonna hear someone out who has caused all sorts of problems, maybe let them actually do that before you start tearing into them.
Continue.
Just a thought.
Relationship a long time ago.
Long time ago. What, like 2021?
I don't know the exact time, honestly, but a long time ago. Then it got a lot less happy.
That
How so?
happens.
I don't fully know. She just stopped hanging out with me that much, and
Stop hanging out with you. She lives with you.
yeah, I mean,
You're gonna have to speak up. I can't hear a single sentence that comes out of your mouth.
It's actually longer, but I cut some out. Okay.
You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm just asking because you went quiet.
Anyway, so I was very, very happy.
He was all right.
And
continue. The only reason I'm talking is because, well, I'm commenting on this.
I don't know exactly when, but like we stopped spending time together.
Okay, she's letting him talk.
Done it together for years.
Or what? I couldn't hear that part.
I said we hadn't done anything together for like years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just very sad and alone.
Okay.
Didn't want it at all.
Mm-hmm. So you slept with Elfie in Paris.
Yeah.
And then you flirted with me.
Which, no excuse for that.
And were telling me how you wanted me to come visit you in Vegas, and how you wanted to go on a date, and how you were serious about me, and how you really meant it, and how you wanted to go get it.
Yes, he totally meant it. After knowing you for 2 days. There's no excuse for him cheating, but there's also no excuse for her, you know, going all in for that.
Cat together.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Why didn't you just break off the relationship then?
Because a combination of remembering how it was, some part of me hoping it would go back to that, and
well, obviously it's not going to go back to that if you're actively cheating on her. It's only going to get worse. I think that's really on you, bud. And I know you're smarter than that.
I'm not.
I mean, for fuck's sake, you're a 34-year-old man. Yes, you are.
Okay.
Stop acting like you're a child.
All right, so I was looking up. The thought crossed my mind. Because there is such a thing here in the United States as single party and two-party consent, and that is regarding specifically recordings. I'm going to assume, because most large streamers do, that Sykkuno lives in LA or California. And, well, California is... Okay, no, he lives in Nevada. Okay, never mind. I don't know about Nevada. So that could potentially open the video up to some issues if he chose to go that route, because, yeah, dual party, if he didn't consent to it being recorded, obviously there's no lawsuit that could be done because, well, Mal is in the UK and Mujin is in France, but I don't know, there's just curiosity. I'm not trying to hold that against anyone involved. I don't know. Recordings get very, difficult when it comes to legality.
Don't think that's what I'm acting like, but...
I mean, you say
I don't think it should be taken down. I want to be clear.
You're a 34-year-old man. You just chose to do it.
But yeah, you gotta be really careful with this stuff.
End up well.
Yeah. But it's complicated.
It's really not. So. Cheating is just bad. She hasn't done anything to ask for it to be cheated on. It's pretty cut and dry.
I'll give her that. No, that's not justified.
She relied on me to take care of a lot of things, and I still cared about her.
Okay, that doesn't mean that you do that because you wanted to, not because she was like holding it against you or forcing you to.
No.
Exactly.
And
so
if they
there's still no excuse for you to cheat on her.
If they weren't married, it's not like you'd have to worry about like her taking
the only reason why it happened is because she just chose to do it.
Everything. Which, again, no excuse to cheat.
I don't know why you decided to lie to me, because you know damn fucking well that lying especially is like a big thing I do not tolerate.
I mean, does he though?
Yeah.
He hasn't exactly known you very long.
I was fine about the Alfie thing, because I was like, okay, he didn't know me before that, right? But then I find out you've had a girlfriend this entire time. Do you realize how fucked up that is?
Yeah, it is.
Because not only were you... Because, sure, you didn't lead Alfie on. Alfie acknowledges that you didn't lead her on, right? Because I've talked to Alfie. I'm friends with her.
Okay.
I've been friends with her before I even met you.
Wait a minute. She called what he did with Elfie predatory, but now she's saying, well, I guess before saying, that Elfie doesn't hold what he did against him. She doesn't. Hold on, let me hear that again.
I've been friends with her before I even met you. Because sure, you didn't lead Alfie on. Alfie acknowledges that you didn't.
Yeah, so now she's saying, at least apparently, Elfie said he didn't lead her on. So if he didn't lead her on, how is that predatory? That... Okay.
Because I've talked to Alfie. I'm friends with her. I've been friends with her before I even met you.
Okay.
Like, she acknowledges that you didn't lead her on. You led me on, though.
Okay, no, that I will agree with. He did lead her on from what messages we saw.
You gave me all these fancy-ass promises about, oh, we're gonna go on a date when you come visit here. What, so you could cheat on your girlfriend again? So you could sleep with me so you could cheat on your girlfriend again?
That wasn't...
What were you intending with that?
I mean...
Well...
That would be the fair assumption.
I thought it was going to, be over.
But what?
Like, I thought that was gonna be the end of that.
The end of what?
My previous relationship.
You were gonna break up with so you could date me, or what?
Well, like I said, it'd been a long time where, like, we hadn't spent time together.
Okay, so...
Hadn't done anything in years.
Mm-hmm.
And in my...
Alright, so, no, he should have been upfront about that. He very much should have been upfront about that.
I
just
thought
like,
that was...
hey, no, I am seeing someone, but I'm planning on breaking up with her.
At some point, be over.
What? I couldn't hear you.
I said, I thought that meant that was going to be, like, the end of it.
So you were already moving on before you even broke up with her? Were you intending to break up with her, or were you just waiting for her to break up with you?
So, the more he's talking about this, the more I don't like the framing of he chose to be here and talk with Mal over trying to console his, just, tearful, horribly upset girlfriend. Because, one, why would he in these circumstances? Actually, not even why would he. Why would she want him to if he's been cheating on her? Why would his girlfriend want him there? But two, if they're having these relationship problems, why would he do that if he was planning to break all this stuff off? If things were as bad as he is implying? I don't like, once again, I do not like the framing here.
I don't know. It's
So,
just a really weird
I
mix of, like...
I just want to understand this. So what was your intention with me? Like, where was I in this whole thing? Like, were you intending to date me after her? Like, were you intending to just ditch to go date me?
That seems to be what he's at least claiming.
I mean, I guess for me, it felt like it was already... No.
But that's not what I asked. I'm talking about me.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
you were thinking to just ditch her and then date me. What, were you gonna do the same thing to me? I'm sorry, but like, you're not really selling this whole relationship thing really well. If this is the type of relationship you uphold.
He's definitely not helping himself.
I can tell.
Just trying to explain what's going on.
Yeah. The thing is, if I never reached out to Bao, because I didn't even reach out to Bao about you, right? I reached out to Bao about because he's lied behind my back to a bunch of people, and I was not okay with that. And then started lying about Bao. That's when I reached out to Bao. I became friends with her roommate, and then I was talking with a little bit back and forth, and then
okay.
You came up in the topic, and then she told me you had a girlfriend.
I'm starting to hear more beeps than R2-D2.
Your girlfriend has been venting to Bao this entire time about how you gaslight her into staying. You make her feel bad anytime that she like wanted to leave because you cheated on her, and she knew that you cheated on her. She just didn't know who. Because you never told her that it was Elfie, you just told her that you cheated on her in Paris. I think. I don't know if you told her, but I knew she knew.
Oh, I'm not sure I follow that train of thinking. Maybe it's just man think versus woman think. But why would she need to know who he cheated on her with? Unless it was like, you know, her best friend or something, why does it matter? The point should be he cheated, and he's scummy for having cheated.
Yeah, I did tell him.
Why? Why go through all of this trouble?
I do not follow
because
there.
Didn't know how to
I mean, for God's sake, if the only thing why you even stayed with her is because she relied on me for a lot of things, you can afford to take care of her for a little bit before she gets back onto her feet. Like,
well,
at least
yes
don't put
and
her
no.
through the trouble of
okay. It's not that simple.
Like telling her like, oh,
it's really
like,
not.
I'm still gonna be with you. Like telling her that you're still her boyfriend while actively cheating on her.
Especially if you're
day.
not breaking up amicably. But yeah, still no excuse for him to go off and start sleeping around like some kind of man whore.
Said how I felt.
Like, you could have just deadass. If the only thing that you were concerned about is the fact that she relied on you for things, you could have just supported her until she got back onto her feet, so she could support herself. You know?
It's again not that simple.
It wasn't just that.
Then what else?
Somehow hoping it would go back to how it used to be.
Well, I also already told you, cheating is not going to make it go back to how it used to be.
It's a lot easier to say that way.
It's the truth. It's the harsh truth. Nothing is going to go back the same way that it was if you're going to cheat on someone actively.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't, as well it shouldn't.
That's why I'm going to change.
You're going to change what?
You know?
Everything.
What do you mean that's it?
You know, no,
Just gonna change.
In all honesty, I hope he does.
Stay with her?
Right.
I hope he does, because he absolutely should.
Honest to God, I feel like the poor girl's been through enough. I don't think you should have to sit there and keep doing this to her.
No, I hope he changes. I was in a group chat I like
while you were on stream.
I want to see people change for the better.
This girl's absolutely f***ing distraught because of the shit that you've done to her. The shit that you've put her through. Like, genuinely. Do you know how much that fucks someone up?
Okay.
Like, you already cheated on her once, and she decided to trust you still. She decided to stay with you, despite the fact that you already had cheated on her and admitted to it. And when do you go, dude? You go onto Twitter and go find the next girl to flirt with.
Which,
like,
again,
anything,
very,
God, I'm
very
not even mad at this point. I'm just disappointed.
There is
really
zero
disappointed.
excuse for that kind of behavior.
Yep, that's fair.
Because she's been crying to Bao about it. Bao's been sitting there, like, comforting this girl, trying to tell her, hey, maybe you should leave him. Because this isn't okay. This really isn't okay.
No, it
You're putting this girl
isn't.
through mental strain. Every single day. That you continue to be with her. While you're sitting there having fun playing with your friends. Be so honest right now, Thomas.
Uncomfortable silence part 2. You know what? I get that.
So you think, and you might be right.
Yeah. Like, if it is money that she doesn't have, or if it's a job, or if it's family, or blah 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 blah.
Gave her a lot.
Yeah, well, there, exactly. Just help her back on her feet until she can support herself, and then just leave the girl alone.
Because
she deserves better than that.
Because if they're breaking
because you
up,
cannot sit there and be like, I love her.
He's under no incentive to do that.
And continue to let her stay in that situation.
Well yeah, it's, mixed feelings. Mixed feelings. Because he is... True. Again, she is the only victim in this. The girlfriend is the only victim from what I'm seeing.
I think the feelings faded.
Well, then you should just let her go. Instead of just sitting her there, wasting her time.
Or, go to couples therapy.
Anyway.
And also, why'd you get on a call with me when right now she's upset? I know she lives with you.
Because...
Okay. Yeah, you should be there to...
I'm going to talk to you first.
You should be there to comfort her. She's the one that you cheated
on. No, because if they're effectively breaking up, and he's done all of this, he shouldn't be there at the moment, because she's going to be angry. It's not gonna make things better. If anything, this is an instance he does need to give her space.
No, I'm going to be doing that. I just wanted to settle this first.
This is not settled. I'm beyond upset with you. Like, genuinely beyond upset with you.
Okay, reasonable.
I mean, that's fine.
No, that is very reasonable.
That's it. Like,
what's it?
Probably never talking again.
You and me?
Yes.
I mean...
What? Why?
Fair.
Is that not why?
What is why? I'm still upset with you, but you didn't cheat on me.
What? What? I'm at a loss for words. Because no, he did. I mean, technically he didn't cheat on you because you weren't a thing. You were the one he was cheating on her with. What do you mean?
You can still talk to me and be, like, make up for your actions. Don't get me wrong, because I always am there for second chances. But I never will forgive you for cheating on her. That's...
Okay. I had my skepticism before, now I'm mad. Yeah, you cheated on this woman who's become my friend, but I won't forgive you for cheating on her, but you didn't cheat on me, so it's okay.
That's all.
What? Hold on. This is apparently with Elfie. Oh no, this is with whoever these Veli Yuki people are. Chat Sykkuno's girlfriend. Wait a minute. This looks like it was sent the same day. Wait, is that time or is that... No, that wouldn't be date. So she sent to this group like an hour before he has a girlfriend. Okay. That I have other questions regarding that.
There are a lot of girls that are upset with you, by the way, because Alfie's not the only one that has hit me up.
Yeah, that sounds like you've heard things.
Yeah, and you lied to me a lot about that too. A lot.
Yeah, it's almost like you were the side hoe.
Cause how big was the roster again?
I don't think I ever had one of those.
I mean, maybe not at the same time, but you sure do hop around.
Okay.
Suppose so.
Yeah. All I care about right now is that he's okay.
Do you, though?
Keep me updated on that.
Keep me
updated? I don't know if
update?
that's a possibility.
You can keep me updated on how she's doing. You can keep me updated on when she moves out, because I don't think she should be living with you anymore.
No! That's not on him!
I don't think you need me to do that.
I mean,
no!
Yeah, I care about her.
Then talk to her!
Like...
Yeah, she can do that.
Yeah!
True. I'll just reach out to her then. But... Yeah, no, just... Like... You go talk to her. She needs you right now.
Yeah, okay. Oh, bye.
Bye, Thomas.
Okay.
Shortly after the call, the last thing Mal would ever say to Sykkuno would be, "I'm beyond disappointed in you." So look, according to Mal, there are countless other victims. It is completely up to them on whether they want to come out with their side of the story.
That doesn't matter.
For now, though, we can confirm at least 2 different people that were completely misled by him as he cheated on his girlfriend.
The disappointment
so
remark is...
In those 2 instances, we can see him also using the same playbook, the same tactics. Sending them money, making them feel special, following their personal Instagram, wanting to meet ASAP, to hook up.
2 people.
And I think one thing that personally struck me was how only 30 minutes after his girlfriend found out about his...
Although he did also imply that, yes, there were more, but...
cheating and probably confronted him, he chose to run upstairs and prioritize Mal, someone he
shut
met
up,
2 months
phone.
ago, all while his girlfriend was crying downstairs. Gutted,
yes, the girlfriend who
There's a
probably
reason
doesn't
people
want to
say with
see him
great power
because
comes
he
great
cheated on
responsibility.
her.
Because once you have this power that Sykkuno possessed, you can so easily take advantage
Oh, and here
of
we go
others.
with the
So as a content creator,
stupid
you have
power
a very clear choice. And
dynamic
unfortunately,
again.
Sykkuno decided to be the worst person possible. I wish all the victims in this travesty the absolute best, and I also encourage them to speak out. When it rains, it pours. And right now, the first drop has hit the ground. Sykkuno and anyone else who seeks to take advantage of their position need to be held accountable. And for anyone who grew up watching him during quarantine,
I don't like that either.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, ruining whatever ideal image you had of him in your head. In any case, if more victims decide to speak out, then I will most likely stream me reading all of them on my channel later on. For the time being, though, please,
the
if
last
a larger
10
content creator reaches out to you, even if you don't make content, please always be extremely skeptical and know that they probably don't see you as the most special person in the world. They've probably done this to many others already. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. If you want a healthy alternative to an energy drink, then definitely use...
No, I am not supporting your Gamer Supps link. Screw you and the horse you rode in on. Let's see. Let's see what the comments have to say. She was cooking him in the call, then decides to jump in the flames with him wanting to keep in touch. Sykkuno was getting bodied the entire call, and his plot armor kicked in. Everyone's unlikable except the poor girlfriend. Agreed, Chris. Like she was trying to get him to dump his girlfriend for her, failed, so instead decided, no, that's exactly the impression I'm getting. I'm glad I'm not the only one, even in his own comments. You didn't cheat on me, we can still talk. Okay, well, I don't need her Google Doc. He went through it. Yeah, no, that is very much the impression I get when you end off with, oh, you didn't cheat on me, so it's fine. Not obviously paraphrasing, but it very much comes off like she's mad that she didn't get picked. Dollars to donuts, she would have, that if he had dumped his girlfriend after, like, if he had, before all of this, if he had said, hey, I was seeing someone, but I don't love her, I love you, I'm leaving her so we could be together, dollars to donuts if he had said that, this never would have come out. And also, he needs to be held accountable by who? By his girlfriend? Absolutely. By some of the people in his life? Yeah. Why does it matter to us? I'm not involved. I don't know anyone involved. But trying to make out like... Okay. Breathe. Trying to paint him in the worst possible light, because yes, he cheated. Yes, he is scum for that. But trying to make it out to be so much worse is also really bad. And her basically saying, well, you didn't cheat on this person I claim to care about. So, you know, maybe we could get together eventually. We can still talk. We can... No! That should not be the reaction. Yeah, you didn't cheat on me. We can still talk. Girl, no, ain't no way they're perfect for each other. Yeah. She sounds like she's more bad to be the side chick. She comes across so right to the beginning and wants to keep him. Yeah, exactly. So then we get to this. This is where we get to the fun bit on Twitter. Powder, whatever your thoughts on her may be, responded, retweeted herself where she'd had interactions with Sykkuno. Her response, can you criticize him for cheating? Absolutely. But never once did I feel manipulated by this dude. He's a huge flirt, but I was incredibly aware of the power dynamic. I still have very mixed feelings on that whole argument. I've seen that argument abused to high heaven. Also, he was just friendly. He's quite forward with his riz, which I didn't like being around. Gave me player vibes. Am I gonna flip out on him? No. Usually when someone's like that, they're already talking to multiple people. Accurate. Better to make the safe assumption with that. I see some women trying to play victim as if they didn't have a brain in the situation. Agreed. You knew each other for 2 days and were talking about moving in with each other. Yeah, I can't disagree. Also saw some people throwing the word predator around. I think that's unreasonable. Mujin was never really a reliable narrator. Yeah, whatever. Same basic thing. I swapped around a couple words by accident. If a larger creator who is friendly asks to play a game with you, would you say no? No, depending on the creator, I more than likely wouldn't. No, if it was a creator I genuinely enjoyed, yeah, absolutely. if I woke up to a DM or an email or whatever from, like, I don't know, Tenma or Kirsha, or shoot, even Powder. I have issues with Powder and how she has handled some things before. But shoot, if she reached out and said, "Hey, Malum, you want to play a game?" I'd say, "Yeah, sure. Let's go. What game?" So, you know, it's fair. She didn't go in hard. And then there was this that turned a lot of people against Mujin, myself included, because this is the worst possible response. Can you criticize him for cheating? Absolutely, but I had no viewers whatsoever and became desperate after trying everything to be relevant. So I chose to appeal to people who hate my gender in order to pay rent. Am I going to flip on a serial cheater who had sex with women without telling them that they'd be homewreckers? Of course not. Morals are an obstacle to my income. Mujin was never really a reliable narrator, so when his video eventually comes out about me being cancelled by my audience for secretly having dated a black guy, even though I keep saying I can't stand minorities, please don't trust him. Also, English is my first language, and I have no idea that predator can mean a person or organization that uses weaker people for their own advantage. But it's okay, my audience gobbles up anything I say anyway. That is a textbook example of how not to respond to something. Look, I've been around on the internet for a long time. I've been around on the internet since I was a kid. I've been around on the internet for longer than a lot of people on the internet nowadays have been alive. Man, I feel old. But just everything about this is wrong. Immediate jump into attacking her. Just attacking her outright, calling her a desperate, clout farmer. Morals are an obstacle to my income because, am I going to flip on him in spite of the fact she says that, yet no, what he did was wrong? And then, what rubbed me wrong the worst, was when his video eventually comes out about me being canceled by my audience for secretly having dated a black guy. Where did this come from? What relevance does this have? For one, source. Like, if you're gonna make a claim like that, it doesn't matter because it's none of our business who she does or doesn't date. I don't care. It does not matter. I get he's trying to say he's claiming she's a hypocrite. But again, this has nothing to do with the point she made. And I've gone over ad nauseum the whole predator angle he was trying to spin. And, he's fixating on one thing specifically and taking into account the entirety of the definition. The comments were great, because, man, he got ratioed. 3.4k, then, yes, please, yeah, you're really mad. Stop fetishizing me in a mixed-race relationship. Amount of buzzwords. What? I can't scroll any lower because, I saw that tweet earlier. I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble if I scroll further. But this is the worst possible response. Shoot, hold on. Let me find it. Let me find it real quick. There. I had a response. I articulated better than I am right now. But this was my response. Well, because Kirsha posted this, and because I actually posted it under this instead of where I had originally intended, so I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I'll leave it. Mujin responded in the absolute worst way to Powder. Instead of a simple, well, not everyone had the same response to him as you did, bro just went all in on blasting her for the dumbest reasons in the most retarded way possible, because he did. Like, instead of trying to counteract her points, her issues, he just went all in on some of the absolute dumbest reactions and insults, or air quotes insults, I've seen. And again, I've been around a long time. But the weird fixation on her, like, dating history is weird. I don't know what relevance it had, because it didn't have any. He responded. Some members of my community, this was just this morning, or, well, last night for me, but, well, I was asleep. Some members of my community have reached out regarding a few concerns, and I want to make sure I address this properly before we move on fully from this topic. Look, I'm flattered that Hemomal tweeted that she considers me a close friend, and I'm grateful for her trust, but the first time we spoke was on April 7th. So this narrative that the video was made as a favor to anyone is simply false. As of today, it is the 15th. When did this release? 5 days ago. So this released on the 10th. 3 days after they claim they spoke. Or after he claims they spoke. You mean to tell me you whipped up that whole video over the course of 3 days? I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I think that's a flat-out lie. That's just what I think it is, because everything else just does not come out correctly. Nothing else adds up. The truth is, Sykkuno's serial cheating and manipulation was only the tip of the iceberg. If that was the tip of the iceberg, why didn't you include anything else? Most of the evidence, again, air quotes, was largely nothing. It was nothing burgers. If you didn't have enough evidence for the tip of the iceberg that was worse than some of the stuff in that video, then you have nothing. This is a cheeseburger with no patty or cheese. It's just the bun. There's nothing. I was hoping the video would encourage the many others who have stayed quiet for years to finally find the courage to talk about their experiences. Unfortunately, with the current state of affairs, that doesn't seem like it will happen anymore, even if they were to somehow fit the image of a perfect victim. Most of the reaction that I have not seen a single person sympathizing with Sykkuno. I have not seen a single person validating his cheating. I've only seen people criticizing Mal and how she handled some of this stuff, but most of it criticizing Mujin and his handling of the situation. The lousy video and the terrible reaction to criticism. Which has, well, vastly dwarfed all other commentary, because rather than just, well, like I said a bit ago, rather than just saying not everyone's interactions with him were the same as yours, he went full ad hominem with zero provocation. The only quote-unquote provocation that he was given was her saying she doesn't think he's a reliable narrator. And it would have been fine. I guarantee this very well could have ended Sykkuno's career if Mujin had just shut up. Sometimes the easiest way to react to criticism is to not respond. I don't blame them whatsoever. Instead, I can only wish them the best and hope that his ex, who was cheated on for over 5 years, can find the peace she deserves. I will agree with him on that. As for me, I'll continue making videos that millions of people enjoy, and when prompted, I'll still strive to do the right thing, even if it's not trendy, because that's just how I was raised, and it's simply who I am. That will never change, no matter how many vultures try desperately to farm my name. Thank you for being the best community I could ever ask for, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Replies locked. Holy, trying to patch an inflated ego, Batman. Millions of people enjoy. There's no reason for it. That's just like, oh, look at me. That's actually, come to think of it, to an extent, the same thing he was getting mad at Sykkuno about. Flexing his numbers and using that as a sort of a hold over smaller creators. Hypocrisy, thy name is Mujin. Yeah, and because that's just how I was raised. Gag me. And, well, the part that annoys me more than the numbers flexing here, no matter how many vultures try to desperately farm my name, that's rich coming from a guy whose career is made off of farming other people's names. Because let's take a little look-see. No, not that. Let's just take a look at videos. Peach XO versus Nessie does something. Minecraft's #1 player, Marlo. Gomi. Relationships, small streamers, Elfin Psyop. He's getting angry over people doing to him what he has built his entire career on. The hypocrisy stinks. Very badly. I think I saw Darling Straub actually retweet it. And, well, I think she had a very good summary. TLDR for all my employed friends. Mujin made a video coordinated with a Google Doc his supposed close friend, she said they were close friends multiple times, had created to expose a guy for cheating and claimed he is a dangerous predator. Google Doc full of contradictions and messy. Mujin gets questioned about his reliability. Mujin crashes out on Twitter. Even more contradictions as more people who wrote the Google Doc get exposed. Mujin wipes his hand clean of everyone and flexes his view count on the way out. Yeah, that's what he did. And I think, let me reload this. Nope, it's not showing now. Earlier, I wish I had a screenshot of it. Earlier, this has been community noted a few times, but I think it got smacked down. But, yeah. That has been interesting. I have no pity for Mujin. The only person I have any empathy for is the now ex-girlfriend. She didn't deserve any of this. considering some of the other stuff that I didn't share because I don't think it's applicable, that has been shown about some of the others, like Mal cheering on the murder of Charlie Kirk, stuff like that. It doesn't affect this, but it doesn't make me feel any worse for her. So, yeah, that was it.